Welcome back, guys, to another video. Now we're taking a look at page 2 and starting at number 41, which is Adventure Island. And the only way I can explain this one is that it's like a half-assed version of Mario. And if you haven't already noticed, this is where we get the title screen music, which isn't bad. Like kicking open eggs, getting a hammer which acts the same as the fire flower, tapping the dash button, which is the B button, as well as holding it to run, making it faster, A's to jump. But unlike Mario, if you touch anything, you either lose your power up or you die. And you get skateboards, and you get the little helmet too. It's pretty messed up. Again, and also unlike Mario, you can't go back. It's once you advance forward, you cannot go back. So it's like Mario's kind of special kind of cousin, I guess. I actually haven't beaten this one particular game yet. I don't know if the levels actually stop. But yeah, that's all I can really say about it. It's just a half-assed version of Mario with similar controls. Moving on to number 42, which is Sky Shot. And this game reuses a lot of sprites. The airship will be reused in another one, and it uses Tetris blocks and the jewelry blocks. And for a while there, it took me a while to figure out how to play this game. You're just pressing a button to shoot, and back and forth, and you're trying to destroy all of the blue square blocks that are in the center there. And if they touch the Tetris wall behind you, you lose. That's it. Not much else to say. Next up is Ice Climber, and this game lots of people still do know about, and a lot more probably will know about it since the 3DS just got it on its free downloadables for the ones who had the on the Ambassador program. And you know, it's just like the actual Cartridge game: A to jump and B to swing your hammer for clubbing seals. Man, you guys are so mean. And collecting vegetables if you get up that high. And yeah, the one thing that bothers me about this game is that just like the Mario Bros. Arcade game, the jumping controls in this game are horrible. If you aren't running when you jump, you will not get enough momentum to jump up and hit your platform. It's so bad and so irritating for later levels. Like I said, collecting vegetables in a bonus stage, and I've never actually been able to finish a bonus level because, again, the jumping controls are so bad. Yeah, I'd cry like that too. Next up is number 44, which is Antarctic Adventure. And it's not really an adventure, it's mostly just a little one-player racing game when you're playing as this penguin, going back and forth. And the game is auto-running, so you can hold up to run faster, and yeah, pressing A or B to jump. Although you can't jump over every hold because there are seals that throw fish at you, I guess. And you collect multicolored flags to give you a score. Yeah. Penguins. Next is number 45, which is Binary Land. And, of course, I don't know if you're crazy or not, but everybody thinks penguins when they think of binary. Anyways, with this game, it's one of those, you're controlling both of these penguins, a male penguin and a female penguin, and they mirror each other's movements as you move around, and pressing a button will use this bug spray, and the objective is to get rid of all the enemies and get to the caged heart at the top of the screen. And yeah, it's not a terrible game, it's just that it's like penguins. Not that there's anything wrong with penguins, but it's just could they have done something else other than penguins for this, considering it's called Binary Land? Ugh. Anyways, moving on. Next up is 1942, and if you haven't noticed, this is that little plane sprite I told you about that they reused for that sky attack with the Tetris blocks. Anyways, with this one, you're flying around in this ship. B is to shoot, A is to do a somersault to dodge, and this is the only game that I find that regularly glitches on me, because not all the text shows up, and the music is just butchered. You hear this loud beep, 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 beep. You probably heard it by now. It's the only thing you'll hear. And I don't know if it's just weird. I've never really heard all of the music. There's when you die, I heard a little bit of the real music, but other than that, it's just that loud bleeping, and it's very annoying. There's number 47, which is Frontline. And this is the kiddiest warfare game I have ever seen. The tanks, like you see here, look like Octoroks. And I don't know, it's just I can't take the sprite seriously because look at the way he walks. Like, seriously. It always reminds me of some sort of mime. So it's like miming warfare, I don't know. And it's just, they only have one arm. I never did understand that, but they only have one arm. And it's the grenades that, if you hit the A button to throw a grenade instead of B, which is to shoot, the grenades have such a strange arc. And the enemies can walk through most of the obstacles, like the trees, while you can't. I never did understand that. Next up is number 48, which is Twinbee. And this game I actually didn't realize existed until I found out that it was a 3D classic on the 3DS shop. And it's basically Extravis, but you're playing as, I think it's what's supposed to be a bee? It's really oddly colored. But same controls, one button's to shoot, the other one drops bombs, and yeah, it plays exactly the same. I think you get little power-ups that can change your shots, but it's just a reskin of Extravis, and apparently, according to Nintendo, this did really well with women. Okay. Next on the list is B-Wings. At least the titles are being consistent this time. So now you're playing. It's another one of those games in the style of the Namco space shooter, and you get different types of weapons again, like in Galaga or Galaxian. And A buttons to shoot. It's auto-scrolling, and a feature that I was not expecting is that if you press the B button, you shed your current weapon. And the only thing I can say is do not press it right at the start of the level, because I accidentally did that, and you can be pretty much screwed for the rest of the level. And it's not actually that bad. It's just that if you take one hit to your hitbox, which is actually very small, which it's just your main ship, not any of your weapons, it's an instantaneous death. But it's actually not that bad. Just don't hit the B button at the start of the level. Next up is number 50, which is V-Excite, or in this case, it's actually Excite Bike. And I accidentally missed this one in my original recording run through, but quickly recorded it just to show you guys. Because it plays like the standard version of Excite Bike, like on the original cartridge. B is to turbo, up and down is to change the tracks, and A is to run. But it plays like V Mr. Mario on the first page, where only half of the screen is right, the left half of the screen, which you drive on, shows everything before it happens. And it gets a little confusing because there's dirt patches that you don't see that you slide on, and jumps that you jump on that you don't see, and it's very, very confusing. Next up is number 51, which is Stargate. Not related to the show at all. You're playing as this little orange ship flying around. A is to shoot, B is to use a bomb that I think you only have like 2 or 3 of. But with the targeting system's kind of interesting, actually. It's on the top of the screen. You see these little dots inside of the square. And the little center square is actually your crosshairs, so if you line it up in there, that means the enemy's more or less in line with you. So, yeah, it's something a little bit interesting and a very Atari-esque game. I don't know about you guys, but it does remind me of the Atari. But yeah, it's just very, very interesting. It doesn't play that halfback considering the speed's very extreme. Next up is Wars. And even though it's called Wars, it's more of like a mixture of dodgeball and bowling. And after players select, it's up to a few players, I think, or actually 2 players. And yes, I chose my name as Ass because I can deal with it. And you're playing as that penguin from the racing game again, except this entire objective is to bowl your dodgeballs, I guess, to the other side of the screen, and you are not allowed to have any on your side. Ass lost his set. I am not going to comment on that whatsoever. Anyways, so the entire objective, like I said, was just to make sure that all the balls go on one side of the arena. If you hit a player, then they get temporarily paralyzed, and it's easier for you to toss them over. And it gets pretty hectic after a while, considering, I don't know, computers seem to hit you easier, but that's just because maybe I suck at this game. And yeah, it's a very interesting one. Next up is Warpman, and I don't know about you guys, first thing I think about when I hear Warpman is Mega Man Boss, but sadly it is not that awesome. You're playing as this rehashed guy who looks like the Dig Dug dude, shooting, both buttons do the same thing, they shoot bullets, and you're fighting off these enemies that look like the love child of a Waddle Dee and a Kirby. I'm not gonna touch that, but yeah, going around, you're supposed to destroy all the enemies in the area, and after a while, a little green plus thing appears, and don't know if it actually, there it is. Go grab it, and the warp zone starts flashing, so you run in there, and now you're playing a half-assed version of Bomberman. Those little things that you picked up, those were bombs, so sticky bombs, actually. And they blast through the walls, but you can be killed by your own bombs, sadly. Next up is Millipede. And this game plays a little more like Space Invaders than anything, except unlike Space Invaders, you can move up and down. And you are allowed to move within your little grade area there, and you're shooting down that orange caterpillar thing, and once you advance to the next level, it's the exact same setup, except the colors are slightly different. And I think that the Millipede moves a little bit faster, and in additional levels, there's extra enemies that pop out randomly. And the little green ovals with the words in them, I think they're supposed to be some sort of bombs. If you shoot them, then they explode. But, it's just a very weird game, and very fast-paced, actually, unlike a lot of the games on this cartridge. Moving right along, we are going into number 55, which is Devil World. And yes, it's the same devil that was in Super Smash Bros. Brawl, for those who remember. And yeah, this game can be a bit of a dick. You're playing as this winged bubble bobble fighting off these, I don't know, pink waddle-dee shy guys. And the only way you can collect the orbs and attack enemies is to grab a cross. And yeah, you can collect for additional points. You get food, and if you get caught in any of the walls when the devil is moving the stage, you die. And thankfully, when you respawn from the egg, the game, when the cameras, since the camera's constantly moving, the game is not that much of a dick to spawn you inside of a wall. Which is nice, because then it gives you at least a little bit of a chance with your lives. Next up is Field Combat. And this one I actually find is kind of amusing. You're playing as this UFO thing, and pressing A button is to shoot this little laser thing, but pressing B is to abduct people. And it's just highly amusing, because after a while you get just these little infantry troops, and then there's helicopters and stuff. And I didn't figure it out in this playthrough, but if you press both the A and the B button together, you spawn your own little blue infantry, and other ships can come and steal your troops and stuff. It's actually kind of amusing. Next up is Boom Man, and actually, this is the original Bomberman. Going around and you are killing the balloon enemies by dropping bombs, and I think you can find power-ups. I don't remember if you can or not, but yeah, the easiest way to do it is just to drop a bomb, catch them in a corner, because they're not exactly the smartest AI ever. And yeah, very stereotypical Bomberman style, and the only difference between each level really is that the background changes color. Up next is number 58, which is Collection. And it's exactly what it sounds like. It's one of those little slide puzzle things. And it's of the enemies and the guy from Adventure Island, again with the theme music playing. And you're trying to match the picture on the left with the one on the right, which just isn't always as easy as it sounds with slide puzzles. And yeah, that's basically it. Number 59 is Guess. And again, it's exactly what it sounds like. And the background's the same as Collection, except it's more green instead of blue or black. And that's all you do, is you just select a bunch of random numbers, and you just see if you're right. You're just guessing. I don't see the point in it. There's really no other objective than just seeing how many times you can get it with getting it with the least number of tries. And last but not least is number 60, which is Star War. And basically, it plays a little bit like Silver Surfer for those who actually have played it. The overhead segments, both buttons fire the laser, and I don't know, it's kind of weird because you don't exactly know what will actually hurt you and what does and what doesn't. Except for the enemies for sure, but you can destroy the blue things on the ground, but I don't know if they actually can hurt you or not. I know the little ones can't, but I can't remember if the big ones do or not, or it's at random, or it's just completely fluky if I do die or not, but it's very strange. And that's really it. That's the third column, guys, so stay tuned. I should be having the fourth one up in a little while, so stay tuned. We're almost done.